Nigerian Airlines and le droit du Seigneur. How should we liken a scenario when you buy a ticket and just as you're about to travel, you know how it is. The night before, maybe after midnight, you get that text message. If you're lucky, you see it at the time, saying that your flight has been rescheduled. Sometimes you are in a strange city and they tell you it has been rescheduled for days. Rescheduled by 1 week. I've seen that one before. Your flight has been rescheduled. It wasn't cancelled, rescheduled. Or you go to the airport, you sit, you wait, and finally they tell you the flight is cancelled. And you think, okay, fine, but I still need to get where I'm going. So can I have my money back now? I need to go and buy another ticket. They said, no, sorry, the ticket is valid for 1 year, so just go and rebook. And you're thinking, but I don't have any other money. And they're not interested. And actually, nobody makes them give you your money back. I would even have thought that in that scenario, that you were entitled to compensation. But no. So to even get your money back is a problem. Not all airlines will give you your money back. Very few will give, and you can count them on one hand, that will even entertain the thought, and it will take you months to get your money back. But here's the question. What exactly is going on? Why is this scenario being allowed? You know, it reminds me of this Yoruba idiom. Olowo gbayawo ole, olenke laila. Meaning, the rich man snatched the wife of the weakling, and all the weakling could do is sigh. No. Is that the situation where we're in? Well, it's not only the Yorubas who have described that kind of thing. I see that even in medieval Europe, they have something called le droit du Seigneur. You can tell that it's French. But what it says is that the Lord of the estate has a right. By right, he can decide to spend the night with any maiden of his choosing within his realm, particularly on her wedding night. I think that is the height of it. And this seems to be the kind of arrangement that some airlines seem to have negotiated with the regulators against the rest of us. How do they have the power and the temerity to refuse to give us our money back when they cancel a flight? And yet, if I arrive late for the flight, they'll tell me no show. If I like, let me go and rebook, they would charge me. I will pay a premium for having missed the flight. Then secondly, if for any reason I'm late, they will tell me that, well, the seat has gone because there were other passengers who are on standby and they've put those passengers in. I have to go and rebook that. Sorry, we've closed check-in. And you know you're going to pay extra. So if they can have their own revenues safeguarded and they can get compensated, why can I, as a passenger, not even get my money back before I then start to talk about compensation? Yet, NCAA says for local flights, we can get as much as 25% of the value of the ticket back. And for international flights, 30%. So who is going to make them do the right thing? The level of arrogance that is being displayed towards passengers by some Nigerian airlines can only be described as hubris. And hubris, we also understand from mythology, violates the bounds set for humans, and therefore it becomes punishable by the gods. And before you think, where are we going to find the gods? We're also told from mythology that vox populi, vox Dei. You know what that means? That the voice of the people is the voice of God. That's where your vox pop comes from, if you don't know. When TV stations say they're doing a vox pop, it means it is our voice, actually, that can bring the redress and can correct this hubris. So if we do not join together and speak up, then we collectively lose out. Remember, I am my neighbor, and my neighbor is me. Which means that I will not wait until the day it is me that is affected, because if I do, I'm powerless. If I don't join with others now to deal with that situation before I'm in it, then I do not use my power. So NCAA tells us that at least about 44% odd of flights leave on schedule. Compare that with the US, where it is like 78% of flights that leave on schedule. So it means in Nigeria, over 56% of flights are either delayed or are cancelled. What kind of statistic is that? And we tolerate this situation. And on top of it, there is the droit de seigneur, where they have slapped you and there's nothing you can do about it. But before we go too far, it's worth noting that airlines too have problems with their regulators. We need to acknowledge that. You know, it's a time-sensitive industry, and yet to be able to get approvals for flights and so on, they have to type manually using a typewriter on a form in triplicate, hand carry it from authority to authority. Oh, and first of all, then get an invoice to pay, and after paying, hand carry it from place to place before they finally get approval and so on. In this day and age, that is how we're still running things. The air operator's certificates, there are about 5 steps in getting those certificates. And the arrangement with NCAA is that if yours is going to expire, say in 2 months' time, you must start the process now. But typically, nobody then gets that renewal. It's not a fresh one. A renewal, you will not get it except maybe 3 to 6 months after the deadline. But there's the Business Facilitation Act that has come out. I don't know why the airlines are not resorting to the provisions of that act in order to curb all of this. There are Nigerian companies that can help with value stream mapping, with process mapping, with process optimization, data management, inventory tracking, or with all the security that is needed in order to make sure that NCAA can have the right information at the right time, and all the participants in the industry can receive the information and intelligence they need as and when they need it. So in this day and age, we cannot still be operating like this. So except there is some droit de seigneur that has been negotiated between the airlines and their regulators, it's time for us to speak and to make our voices heard that this situation cannot continue. So we need standard operating procedures for when there is a cancellation. What should we do? What should the airline do? What will the regulator do? If they do not do what they're supposed to do, where can we complain? How do we get redress? Our favorite regulatory agency, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Council, is our friend in this matter. They are the ones that we really believe can bring some relief to Nigerians. So we will be asking them, please, to act as ombudsman for Nigerians in this matter. We should also work together with NCAA. Let's resolve whatever the problems are and make the industry much better. And so that Nigerian companies stop losing money, individuals stop losing money because they're using services. You see, if you do not provide the service, this is where your staff then start to ask people to make unreceipted payments, special payments that will get them onto the next flight or something. We have to stop all of that. As Charlie Boy has said, our mumu don't do. So, Olowo Bayawu Ole, Olenke Laila, may that never be your portion. Thank you very much.